Hello there, welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Ixalan. That's Paul Chun, I'm Marshall Sutcliffe, and we've reached the end of our day here. We've got one more round of standard to bring you before we're calling it a day on day one, and oh boy, we've got two 7-0 players down in the feature match area. From China, we have Xiao, and from Hong Kong, playing Ramanop Red.
Guess who?
Still playing Ramanop Red. From Team MTG Mint Card, it is Yam Wing Chun. That's right, that Yam Wing Chun. So let's see how this one goes. We're going to have one of these players undefeated as they exit the first day of action. Let's head down. It's time for round number 8 here from Pro Tour Ixalan. Hello and welcome to coverage here at Pro Tour Ixalan. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paul Chun, and it is time for round 8 action where we have two undefeated players down in the feature match area. Let's take a look at our players here. First up, from China, Xiao playing 4-color Energy. On the other side of the table, we've got Yam Wing Chun. Yam? We call him Yammy. Yammy is on Ramanop Red once again. Yammy made famous for that top 4 finish at the Pro Tour against Paulo Vitor da Rosa, unfortunately culminating with a mistake. You know, a big mistake that the Yam had made on camera there. But look, Yam is really proving himself here after an ultra-strong finish to end the season. Yam is right back at it again and is 7-0. And if he can get by Xiao will be 8-0 going into day 2 and actually be in sight of a second top 8 in a row.
Yeah, if there's one person that's very unlikely to make that same Hazard the Fervent mistake, it's likely going to be Yam Wing Chun. And proving that, you know, the last PT might not have gone ideally for him, but you know, this is still the deck that he's had, you know, the most success with. And you know, he also picked up a ton of fans just from the way he played in the last PT. You know, slow rolling every draw step.
Yes.
And just making things a little more exciting for people to watch.
Honestly, you know,
here we go.
This is it.
He
by the
needs
way.
a land.
This is classic Yam Wing Chun here. You know, also I have to say I think he gained a lot of fans based on how he handled himself.
Oh, absolutely.
After that mistake. You know, it was really impressive. He was able to take it in stride. He was open and honest about it. And you know, I think all of us can relate on some level to, you know, wishing you could just take back that one thing, that one oversight that you did. And I thought, I personally was very, very impressed by the way that he handled himself in the wake of that. And clearly it hasn't slowed him down a beat.
Right. And I'm not too surprised because just based on his general demeanor, he just seems like a very kind of happy-go-lucky guy. So that response from him was, you know, not super surprising. I know if I was in that same situation, it would have been really, really tough for me to stomach, but not for Yammy here.
Okay, well, things not progressing beautifully here. It looks like a pair of shocks are going to take care of a couple of early rogue refiners here for Yam.
Yam really needs to find that third land. He's got that on-crop crasher. Not getting in, not mustering up the most potent offense here.
No.
And the energy deck does have a much better way to kind of go over to the top. So
I think we're going to see Carry Zev here, though.
Okay.
And that's a nice addition to the board. And, you know, honestly, if Xiao plays one creature here and Yam can follow up and get that land off the top, hey, not too bad either.
So many cards here that are so bad for Yam Wing Chun. A Glory Bringer, a Whirler Virtuoso. Probably the best card in this matchup. That's a Bristling Hydra with roughly infinite energy, or 9?
Yeah, it's the 9 on the die, but is it really 9? 3?
I think it's 9.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is, yeah. You can count them up in the graveyard. Xiao hasn't used energy on anything else, so your rough count was correct. Infinite.
And that's super relevant here because Yam Wing Chun did have that on-crop crasher on the battlefield. Sorry, in his hand. But because Xiao has access to triple hexproof triggers, he can actually just kind of blink that effect.
So Xiao is going to go ahead and just block the monkey token there. Right. Ragavan.
Karizav does have Menace, so not be blocked by the Bristling Hydra.
That's right. So Xiaohan's now going to look at their hand and try to keep building things out. Things have gone pretty well, all told. Bristling Hydra on the battlefield, ready to play defense, maybe even a friend. Well, close enough. That's Chandra.
Yeah. This was a great start. A Braid, Rogue Refiner into Bristling Hydra is a very, very nice start. Does he? What do we want to do?
+1, says Xiaohan.
And that is a Glory Bringer. So.
Would have been nice. No mana here, though. Going to have to settle for just 2 damage. And then follow up with Servant of the Conduit. So Xiaohan now up to 11 energy somehow. And really looking to take control of the board here as these missed land drops from Yam have really become critical.
In order to have success with any of these traditional mono-red decks is being able to curve out perfectly. 1, 2, 3, top out at the Hazoret. If you don't have that, it's just really going to be hard to kind of fight through all these mid-range decks that have much more powerful cards in the mid to late game.
Yeah, this is really not working out well for Yam. He's used a Lightning Strike to bring Chandra 3 loyalty lower, but Chandra's still on the battlefield and still needs to be dealt with at some point. And Yam is just sitting there staring at a grip full of spells and not quite enough lands.
What does Yam have access to?
Braid?
Is this maybe Earthshaker Kenra?
I think it's in a Braid, Paul.
It's in a Braid. Okay, so he can choose to use the Braid on the Servant of the Conduit.
Looks like a Lightning Strike is also an option.
Okay, that's also a consideration. I think a Braid is probably the better choice here. There's not a lot of artifacts that you'd be expecting out of the energy deck. So if he goes for the... Yeah, so he went with the Braid, triggered the Prowess. The two power creatures are going for the Chandra. All right, so now we have a Karizav versus a Bristling Hydra. Got the Chandra off the board.
Yes.
Took a lot of resources.
It did, but you know what? All told, not that bad. A Lightning Strike was the only, like, cold spell out of hand there.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, but that is a gigantic Long Tusk Cub.
Right, and that threatens to slam the door on this game in Xiaohan's favor very, very quickly. Now, you know, we've been talking about the clock that Yam's been under thanks to this Bristling Hydra, but I'll tell you what, that Long Tusk Cub is going to make very short work of this.
All right. And Xiaohan actually deciding just to get in for 4 there and keeping a bunch of energy back to block with the Long Tusk Cub. So now if Yam does draw a land, he can use the On-Crop Crasher to try to force in some damage, but it looks like he still hasn't found his 3rd land.
No, and this has just gone too far for Yam. By the way, we do have 2 other undefeated players in the feature match area. Pyotr Glagowski is playing against Brad Maxwell, and Pyotr finds himself up a game in the 4-color energy mirror match, playing for undefeated here on day 1 as well. Now, these 2 players are as well.
Yeah. What is happening here? Okay,
It
so
looks like Xiaohan's going to use up a bunch of energy, or at least a good chunk of it here, to grow this Long Tusk Cub.
so this is in response. Soulscar Mage is on the stack, so Xiao wants to make sure that the creature just stays out of Lightning Strike range. So just kind of a preemptive use of the energy here.
Smart.
Yeah, still has access to 6 energy to kind of spread around. So
Yeah,
very heads-up play.
Yeah, Xiaohan playing around cards in Yam Wing Chung's hand. That's where you want to be.
I think Xiao can just pretty safely attack with both the creatures here.
Yeah, it's 17 life. What's the worst possibility? There's no
Lightning strike into
Hazoret.
land Hazoret, but like Yam Wing Chun's gonna have a bunch of cards in hand, so Hazoret is very unlikely to actually get in for lethal.
Yeah, and it looks like Yam's decided I had better try to keep my life total up here because that is a lot of damage coming in. 5 minimum from that long tusk cub, with Xiaohan having the opportunity for an additional 3.
Wow, and another threat here.
Now what? Oh, wow.
And a Whirler Virtuoso. Okay. So now Yam Wing Chun does have a Lightning Strike. I guess you aim the Lightning Strike at the Whirler Virtuoso and kind of put Xiao to the test. How many Thoppers do you want to make here?
Yeah, he let Xiao resolve, and then with the energy trigger on the stack.
Right. So how many Thoppers do you want? Looks like 1.
And up to 7 energy for Xiaohan, who really has not relinquished control of this game at any stage. Yam Wing Chun with this mana stumble, it's made it so difficult to get back in and just can't piece together the kind of damage. And now look at the board.
Yeah,
Even
now we
if
have a
you
1 mana 1/2 staring at a 2 mana 5/5, potentially a 7/7, along with the Bristling Hydra.
Yeah, and if you ever want to know when the Ramanop Red player is going to lose, it's when they play a haste creature and say, go. That is not a good spot to be. Now, the one exception to that is Hazoret.
Right.
You can win from that spot, but yeah, this isn't going to get the job done, as Yami is now chump blocking on back-to-back turns.
And another long tusk.
Xiaohan has another long tusk cub, and that should
there's your
just
land,
about
but
do it.
Too little, too late.
Also, Yam has just lost all life here, not even slow rolling himself on that last
You know it's over when Yam doesn't even bother slow rolling the cards.
Right. Xiaohan with the sigh of relief, 1 game away from a perfect start here on day 1 at Pro Tour Ixalan. We've got 2 other undefeated players in the feature match here. Everybody else is 6-1. We'll get you updates on that and maybe even a little live look, and we'll see how it goes. We'll be back right after these messages.
Always know the right play to make? Show off your skills at a local preliminary Pro Tour qualifier. With over 2,000 game stores worldwide running PPTQs, find an event near you at magic.wizards.com/PPTQ.
And welcome back to the feature match area here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paul Xiao, and we are deep into day one here. Round number 8, in fact, the last round of action here at Pro Tour Ixalan. We're playing standard. Let's take a look at what is still, it looks like game 2 here, Peter Glogowski versus Brad Maxwell. These players, though, Paul, very importantly, they are also both 7-0, just like our main feature match players, and playing for undefeated here on day one. What an incredible feeling to be undefeated on day one of the Pro Tour.
Absolutely. And they're both playing 4-color energy.
Indeed. They do have different takes on the deck, it seems, with Peter having some pretty cool tech.
Yeah, he's playing a couple of copies of Sky Sovereign Console Flagship as kind of the top end of his curve to go along with the 2 copies of the Scarab God. So by doing that, he's opted not to play Glorybringer as the 5-mana card of choice.
Yeah, Tim, our floor reporter down on the floor, said also that the 1 Blossoming Defense that he has in the main deck protected that card, the Sky Sovereign, and actually led him to eventually winning that game. So
yeah, it's always nice to just have kind of a couple of spicy cards in your deck so that people don't know exactly what you're playing. If you just bring stock decks, people know exactly how to play against you. And by playing a singular copy of a card like Blossoming Defense, 1 copy of Supreme Will also in his deck that a lot of people are just not going to play around.
That's right. So what are we looking at here? We see the Sky Sovereign down on the bottom of the screen for Piotr. He also has a Nissa on the battlefield.
I see a player stuck on 3 lands and a player who's got double the number of permanents in play.
Yeah, this one looks like it's going very well for Piotr, and we could easily see him sitting at 8-0 after this game.
This is a pretty overwhelming board to come back from, I'd say.
Yeah, you know what? I think we should just go back to Xiao versus Yam here because I want to catch every minute of that. And this one looks like it's pretty heavily skewed in one direction. So let's go back to our main match where we have Xiao Han on 4-color energy playing against Yam Wing Chun on Ramanop Red. Yam unable to hit land number 3 for the duration of that game until just the very end, way too late. And Xiao Han was able to pretty easily win that game. Xiao Han now 1 game away from undefeated on day 1 at the Pro Tour.
And Yam Wing Chun now has a handful of lands, but he needs to kind of avoid drawing multiple lands now because it looks like he's got a mountain and a couple of Sunscorched Deserts in hand. Does Yam Wing Chun have a 2-drop here? Very big. All right. There's a Karizev.
Good start here from Yam. Let's see what Xiao Han has. Fine.
Classic.
Yep.
Servant of the Conduit.
The standard issue 2-drop here.
Right. But Yam Wing Chun has plenty of answers to that in his deck, most likely. Yeah, he's got. Let's just quickly take a look. And it looks like he's got a shock in hand to go with a Bomat Courier. So I imagine that's kind of the likely play. Could also consider playing the Lightning Strike for mana efficiency, but I would probably look to hold the Lightning Strike for a potential Whirler Virtuoso. So he does go for the shock, and this is 6 damage.
This is a lot of damage, and of course that critical Bomat Courier starting to pile up those cards.
Yeah. Now, if Yam Wing Chun can draw a land here, he is looking golden. He's got that Hazard in hand. This is the dream start. What does Xiao Han have? Oh,
well,
turn 3 Whirler Virtuoso. That's a nice curve too.
Honestly, one of the better cards.
Right. But I think if Yam can find, he needs a land here. If he finds a land here,
oh, look at the squeeze
great
from
chip.
Yam.
Here it is. The classic. Is it a land?
It is. Finds a
There
mountain off the top of the library. Now, Yam, you know what to do here, buddy.
Well,
last time we watched, it was you and I in the booth.
Right.
And we weren't going for a land that time.
No, we were going for a specific burn spell.
But this time it's a land that Yam needs. And you can see no choice there. Play the land, play the Hazoret. Well, Green light.
Yeah, so Xiao Han can make 2 tokens here. So Yam is just kind of lining up the blocks. Does he want to attack with everything? Does he want to attack with just the Hazoret and the Kari Zev? Or just the Hazoret? Those are all the options. The Soulscar Mage is just the 1/2, so the Warlord Virtuoso can just eat the Soulscar Mage.
By the way, we were right. That game that we checked in on briefly, very much in Pyotr Glukowski's favor. He has won it,
Yeah.
and he is 8-0 at the Pro Tour overnight.
8-0.
Congratulations to Pyotr. That is a perfect start, to say the least.
All right, so kind of the most conservative attacks you could make here. I mean, these attacks do make the most sense because Xiao does not have like a free block here. So Xiao can, like, what
Did
happened?
you see that? Xiao said, you have 1 card in hand, and Yam said, yes, I have 1 card in hand.
That is pretty good.
Oh, that is great.
All right, so yeah.
And a little smile from Xiao Han as well. Maybe trying to throw Yam off
Are
his
you
game
sure?
a little.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Poor Yam. That was a pretty good little dig there from Xiao Han. But again, you know, one of the reasons why we all like Yam so much is you could see he took it in stride. He said, yes,
You
I have
can
one, and he smiled.
You can just shrug it off.
Yeah.
All right, so there is a Bristling Hydra on the board, but currently only 5 energy.
Mm-hmm.
So Yam can still safely attack with the Hazoret.
Yeah, Hazoret, a major issue here for Xiao Han.
Yeah, Bristling Hydra needs you to have 9 energy to actually get it to be bigger than the Hazoret. All right, Yam, you need to just make sure you play that land over there.
Yeah. Or maybe throw it upstairs.
He could.
Yeah, you can see that Xiao Han recognizes that this game has not gone nearly as well as game number 1. Yan Wing-Chung really off to a blazing start and able to apply pressure, deploy his game plan, and put the heat right back on Xiao Han.
Yeah, this is the thing with this mono red deck. Like, on the play, draws like this, they're almost unbeatable, right? Xiao Han had a fantastic draw. Turn 2 Servant of the Conduit, turn 3 Warlord Virtuoso, turn 4 Bristling Hydra, and just on the ropes right now.
That's right. And look at this, an all-out attack here from Yam. He's got 2 cards now.
I do like this
under
attack.
the Bomat Courier. You know, what's the last card in hand for him?
I believe the last card in hand is a Lightning Strike.
Okay.
So what Yam can do is, if Xiao Han decides to block the Bomat Courier, can use the Lightning Strike here.
Oh, and look at this. Xiao Han decided to use 3 energy to make a Thopter, but that left only 2 behind. And that means a Lightning Strike gets to hit a Bristling Hydra, a rare thing, to say the least.
You almost never see that happen, but there's just so much pressure being applied by Yan Wing-Chun that Xiao kind of had to make the Thopter there.
And look at this. Yam gets a great
This is 3 damage.
setup here. Yeah, he gets to also cash in now the Bomat Courier for 2 cards since he's hellbent.
Yeah. No cards in hand. Back up to 2. All right.
So that transaction ended up working out quite well for Yam, right? I mean, all told, getting the Lightning Strike on a Bristling Hydra is a big game.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, Xiao Han needs to find a way to deal with this Hazoret, but there are not a lot of cards in the format that allow you to do that. Confiscation Coup would be a pretty nice card if Xiao decided to keep that in.
Looks like Xiao has access to a Chandra Torch of Defiance.
Okay, some ways to actually still just make some energy, make some tokens. The combination of Attune with Ether plus Warlord Virtuoso gives you access to 7 energy, meaning that Xiao can make 2 Thopters.
What's the long game here, though? Because Xiao is delaying the inevitable as far as how the board sits currently and needs a long game solution to Hazoret.
Yeah, and Xiao currently doesn't have a lot of time either.
Right.
Already sitting at 7 life. I think finding a Scarab God as quickly as possible would be pretty nice. Glorybringer would also be a way to kind of turn the game around. But again, being at 7 life, it's going to be really, really tough to be able to turn this game around in this short of a time.
Okay, well, there's that second whirler virtuoso, but again, none of these interact for the long term
Right.
with Hazaret. Though we'll buy Xiao some time.
But Yam Chun can just start flinging his lands to deal damage. He's got, it looks like, a land, so this allows Yam to actually just discard 2 cards from his hand to deal 4 damage to Xiao, and then just basically put Xiao on a 2-turn clock to actually try to end the game.
Yeah, hand for Yam right now is Mountain Hazaret.
Let's
Don't like that,
yeah.
but I like this.
So here comes a discard, getting down to the 1 card.
Yep, do 2 to you. And that's going to unlock an attack.
So what are the good attacks here? I think maybe just Hazaret. There's a couple of Whirler Virtuosos on the battlefield. So yeah, just the Hazaret, which gets eaten up by a Thopter.
Or the other way around.
Or sorry, Hazaret eating the Thopter.
Yes.
And now the clock is ticking.
Down to 5 for Xiao. And like you said, this is a very real clock. Hazaret's activated ability plus any potential attacks that could come through.
Oh,
Xiao says,
wow.
I don't have the answer. I'm going to just go ahead and scoop him up, and we're going to a game 3 here on our main feature match. Looks like it's getting a little hot down there. Yam wants a cup of water. All right, let's take a look at Wilson Hunter versus Brian Brown Doohan. Wilson Hunter sitting at 6-1, same with BBD. And Wilson's on this cool deck. We've had it in the feature match area a few times. He's playing Mono White Vampires is the name of the deck, and it is cool. It's running Oketra's Monument, Mauvrin Fane, like some pretty neat stuff.
And Metallic Mimics for the tribal
yes,
bonuses.
yes.
And Angel of Invention. But it looks like it's on BBD's side of the board.
Whoa,
because
yes.
I see a Confiscation Coup in the graveyard. So that's pumped his team, and he's got a pretty overwhelming board here.
Are you saying that that's not Brian Brown Doohan's Angel of Invention?
Who knows? With the energy deck, you can play any color you want, so maybe that's just the new tech. I don't even know.
Oh, man.
You know, you have 4 tunes, 4 hubs, and 4 servants. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a free world. And it looks like Wilson Hunter is being put in the situation that he really doesn't want to find himself in, and that's blocking.
That's double blocking the Servant of the Conduit because there's an Angel of Invention on Brian Brown Doohan's side, which is not really a great place to be. What does Wilson Hunter have?
I mean, I had to double check the deck list just because I thought I saw what I thought I saw, but I did. He's got Legion Conquistador in this deck.
Well, 4 copies.
Oh, yeah.
Doing it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, Paul's well known for running 3 copies of this in many decks, but Wilson Hunter, of course, maximizing.
Well, you know, the card doesn't look especially powerful by itself, but
No.
in conjunction with Oketra's Monument, you can just develop a super wide board, and it's a source of card advantage. Oh, okay. Time for his own Angel of Invention.
His other own Angel of Invention.
Yeah, his other own. And he gets an attack here with the Mauvrin Fane, which is currently a 3/3. So now if Brian can opt to block here, but it would be a trade.
It would be a trade, and of course,
because it's a 4/3. Yep, yep.
So they both trade off, but Mauvrin Fane does leave behind a vampire token.
Right. And a lot of this will now kind of just depend on the contents of BBD's hand. Wilson Hunter has gas for days, as he does have the Legion Conquistador.
He does.
Oh, well, so much for that.
Uh-oh, things are starting to fall apart here.
How
for
dare
Wilson
you use
Hunter.
spot removal on my Angel?
By the way, Wilson Hunter not only breaking the format in Standard, but in names, he has 2 first and or last names. That's unbelievable.
So ambiguous.
It could be Hunter Wilson.
I think actually at one point he was featured, and I did use the other side. I did
Yeah.
Hunter Wilson at one point.
Yeah, I was down in the feature match
The
area,
man of
and,
mystery.
and it's Hunter, Wilson, and my brain was like, well, I just don't know how to do this anymore.
Oh, wow. Whirler Virtuoso plus Angel of Invention combo.
Is that good? Good enough. And Wilson doesn't even bother showing him the Legion Conquistador.
Can't show him the bombs.
No.
The heart of your deck.
Let him see it. So that is going to be an equalizer there. Brian Brown Doohan and Wilson Hunter are now tied at 1 game apiece and sitting at 6-1. So that's a massive match over there. I see that Brian David Marshall's sitting with Mike Sigrist up there. So, well, that one's done.
Let's try to read body language here. Did Siggy win?
He's hard to tell. He's such a laid-back guy.
He's tweeting right now, so I think he won.
I'm going to say he won.
You know, because if you lost, you kind of sit there and sulk for a little bit.
I'm going to guess that he won and also tell you that I know that he won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But to be honest, Sigrist is such a laid-back guy.
Right.
It wouldn't have shocked me to hear that, he was just sending a message and having a chat with BDM, even if it didn't go his way.
Sure, yeah.
He's one of my favorite people out here on the tour for sure, but he's doing well. Sigrist is sitting now
7-1.
Yeah, he's 7-1 playing for Team Channel Fireball. He got by Eduardo dos Santos Vieira on that one, who plays for Card Hoarder Brazil, knocking him down to 6-2. And
hold on, we have something very important here.
I see.
We got a slow roll our hand.
Slow squeeze.
What do we have?
Oh man,
it looks like a lot of lands. It's hard to tell. They could all just be red cards as well, because they're also in red sleeves. He only plays one way.
It looks like Xiao Han has taken a mulligan here. Never where you want to be.
I wonder if Yam is still just deciding. Looks like he's still kind of figuring out whether or not he wants to keep this.
Taking a look at Xiao Han here. Going down to 6, but going to be on the play.
Yeah. Very huge. You saw what happened in the last game where Yan Wing Chun just had the ideal 1-2-3 Hazaret getcha. Okay, so it does look like Yan Wing Chun is kept. Xiao Han probably just doing the old Whirler Virtuoso check. Do I have one in my opening hand? All right, cool. I'm good.
That really is one of the focal points for this matchup, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, the turn 1 Attune, turn 2 Cub, something along those lines. But the Whirler Virtuoso is one of the keys to the matchup.
Okay, let's see if Xiao Han can keep. I'd love to see another great game.
Oh, I see a Whirler Virtuoso.
Do you see lands?
Is there a green mana source?
There's
Mountain
red and
swamp.
black. Oh.
Here's the question. What would that swamp have been? Because there is that small price you pay for playing that 4th color. It's only one swamp.
Uh-oh. Scry to the bottom, Paul.
Scry to the bottom?
Yeah, Xiao Han, you
Oh. Needs a forest or an island
If
here.
we get a forest, we're going to have a really sweet game. If we don't, Yam is going to absolutely dominate this and pick up the match.
Yam with a slower start. Do we have a forest? Oh, it's a forest! Better shuffle it back in and then play
Sigh of relief.
Wow.
Okay, so Xiao Han says, I have a chance here.
Oh, but Xiao Han...
That Long Tusk Cub completely exposed at this point, and I think an Abrade is going to snap it off. Get in while the getting's good.
And Xiao Han has a swamp in hand, still cannot play the Whirler Virtuoso out of the hand.
We'll see.
Oh, right. Of course. Why would I doubt? We are in the 7-0 bracket.
Never didn't have it is the term we're looking for here. Let's see if Xiao Han can find an island.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know, but it was upside down.
Finds an upside down card. Okay, swamp.
Awkward. No duels, no hubs.
Just all basics. What is that?
That's a Death Guard Scavenger.
Okay.
Hey, I'll gain 2 life and make it 3-2. You know what? Could have been a lot worse than that. Could have been better. Won't lie.
So Yan Wing Chun with kind of a slower start here. Maybe he has a different sideboard plan when he's on the draw.
I suppose at this point, Attune with Ether is an even better draw than an island.
Right.
All right, so Yam has on-crop Crasher.
Oh, no exert.
Is
offering the trade.
Yeah, it looks like just going to offer the trade straight up here.
Oh, interesting.
I think that Yam says, Xiao Han, I don't think you're going to want to. And Yam was right.
Good read.
Xiao Han did not trade.
No blue source.
Oh, this could get ugly.
What if Xiao?
What are they working with here? Let's find out. We know the Whirler Virtuoso. Oh, no, an Essence Scatter.
Essence Scatter.
Oh, but we have blue mana now, Paul. It's just going to have to wait till next turn. Servant of the Conduits on the battlefield.
Servant of the Conduits on the
right.
battlefield. Well, if Yamwing Chun has a removal spell, I might be tempted to actually just get that Servant of the Conduit off the board. It's like, why did you wait so long to play the Servant? You must have some blue cards in hand. If you had a Chandra, you might have played that already. If you had a Bristling Hydra, certainly would have played that as well.
That's right. Land number 4, right on time here for Yam. He even can play Hazoret, but given the full grip of cards here, it'll be a little while until he can start actually attacking with Hazoret.
Does Yam have a removal spell? He does. He has a Lightning Strike and a Kari Zev that he can play this turn. So
look at the Servant is trying to hide down by the forest.
Well, you just kind of put it in your mana stack. That's all. No exert, no exert.
No,
you want to trade? No trade?
No,
okay,
Yam
I think
says,
you might value your Servant. I might just use this Lightning Strike on the Servant of the Conduit.
You know, Yam has a good follow-up, too. Yam can play that plus carries.
Oh, and he goes for the Servant.
Yes, that's a smart play from Yam.
Heads up.
Really putting the pressure
Here we
here
go,
on
blue
Xiao
source.
Han. Finding a blue source would really help even things up. 3 cards left in hand. Xiao Han clearly keeping in mind that Yam has the ability to get Hazoret going and how bad that would be.
So Xiao Han likely will attack here because Xiao can gain 2 life here by exiling that Servant of the Conduit.
Yeah, it doesn't have a fantastic block anyway. Not planning on trading for Ragavan.
Yeah,
no play here for Xiao?
No play. Had the Essence Scatter. What else?
It's because it's a Harness Lightning.
Oh, it's a Harness Lightning. Okay, that's not bad.
It's business. Yeah,
Yam
what
wants
are
a
you
1-drop.
doing?
Yeah, he really wants a 1-drop, so he can play 1-drop into Hazoret. But
That's right.
I think he
missed.
found another land.
You're right. He found a Sunscorched Desert, which he's going to play here. Does 1 damage to Xiao Han.
What are we doing in the combat phase? This Deathcore Scavenger doing some damage, though. Gaining 4 life, dealing an additional point of damage by exiling the Braid. It's going to be able to potentially gain more life because there's the Harness Lightning.
I mean, Xiao Han is comfortably winning this race if we snapshot right now.
Right. But
I don't
there is
like
a Hazoret coming
their
in
chances
pretty
going
soon.
forward, yeah. Also, the snapshot got a little ugly there for a second, but not too bad still. Yamwing Chun is only going to get in for 3.
All right, and Hazoret enters the battlefield.
Right, 2 cards left in hand for Yam.
Not quite fervent yet.
One of them is Ramanop Ruins.
I think that might have been a forest.
Those are the exiled cards there on top. There is more food in the graveyard for that Deathgorge Scavenger, but the real problem
That was a
is
forest.
Hazoret. Oh,
Xiao Han with just blue cards in hand.
terrible draw for Xiao Han.
The only thing Xiao can do is try to race and hope to find a blue source on the top of the deck.
So we know that Yam has in his hand a Ramanop Ruins.
All right.
He has 3 lands in hand now.
Well, no matter what, Yam can just get in with the Hazoret as long as he remembers to utilize the
Just chuck
the Hazoret. Yeah, just discard a land.
It's like Yam's
He's like,
gonna
I
have
got this.
to pitch a Sunscorched Desert. So a damage disappears in that, but also turns into 2.
Right.
So
Turns
it
into
works
2,
out okay.
Put Xiao down to 13.
This one looks
has
like
an
it's going to
attack
go for Yamwing Chun, doesn't it, Paul?
Now has an attack for 8 damage here.
That would knock Xiao Han down to 5. And Yam can decide to just throw this Ramanop Ruins as well, which would put Xiao Han at 3 and a virtual 1 with any draw step, literal any draw step.
And I don't think Xiao has enough of a clock here. But
No.
needs
Oh,
a
and there's
blue
that
source.
Attune with Ether now.
Okay.
Does Hat get the job done? Attune puts Xiao Han to 5 energy, an island,
Virtuoso.
and a Virtuoso.
Puts you to 8 energy. So that gives you a Whirler Virtuoso and 2 Thopters to block with.
But Xiao Han also has to kind of keep attacking here.
You have to keep attacking here because that's the only way. Otherwise, the Hazoret's just going to get you with the discard effect.
That's right.
But
Well,
Xiao is
Han says,
effectively
well,
down to
better
1
late
life.
than never, yeah.
Right? Is effectively down to 1 life with the 2 activations from the Hazoret. And then has an attack with the Monkey Token, Karizev, which has Menace, and the Hazoret. So I actually don't think Xiao can attack.
Well, that is about the death knell then. You know, that could be the nails in the coffin here.
Well, is there a
for Xiao
creature
Han.
in the graveyard? I don't
No,
think there
there's
are
not.
any
There's
left,
not right
right
now. No, I checked before
Okay.
we went to the other shot, and there's not. There's just lightning strikes and harness lightning, and a tune and a land. So
There is that island.
yeah. Okay. It looks like this may be a little bit too late for Xiao, but we'll see.
Yeah, Xiao Han cannot attack here, as Xiao has 3 blockers, needs to have 4 blockers to block every single one of Yam's creatures. So yeah.
Yep. Does the math and says go.
All right, put you to 3.
Yep. So Yam's just going to go ahead and chuck the Ramanov Ruins. You're at 3. Again, this draw step.
I guess a lightning strike would just end it. He doesn't really need to slow roll.
And he didn't find it. He found a mountain instead. Still lining up an attack here for Yan Wing-Chun, trying to go 8-0 with Ramanov Red, and once again put himself in a fantastic position for top 8. Now, a lot of work to do tomorrow, all told, but still,
Pretty
8-0
nice way to
is
start
in
the day.
range. Yeah, that's like, man, open up a hostage taker one time in the morning, and you're good to go.
It's a good way to start a draft for sure. So I don't think Yam wants to put Karizev in the graveyard. Could choose to attack with the Hazard, but decided to play defensively and just going with the 2
past the turn.
activations.
Yeah. Yam is looking at a pretty significant amount of damage, and there's no way the Hazaret's getting through. It's going to get chump blocked every time anyway.
Is this just the game?
Right, and all Yam has to do is say, activate this, untap, draw my card, activate this, and if Xiao Han can't do anything about that, it's game over.
Right. I guess one of the ways Yan Wing-Chun could lose is if Xiao makes a couple tokens in return, Yam attacks, and then Xiao maybe draws a removal spell for the Karizev.
That's going to do it right there. Xiao Han extends the hand, and Yam
8-0.
Wing-Chun, 8-0. Guess who's back? He said, big smile from Yam. He said, that semifinal finish was pretty cool. Didn't go exactly the way I wanted.
It wasn't good enough for him. Top 4
I'd
was
like
good
to
enough.
do that again. So, well on his way. Again, I did mention earlier, a lot of work to do tomorrow. We're not going to make light of that, but wow. Going to have a nice dinner here at 8-0 and hopefully sleep well. So we've got a pretty big attack lined up here when we get to this match that we're moving over to between Wilson Hunter and Brian Brown Doohan. And one of the key things that you're going to see when we hit the overhead here is that there's actually a desert in the graveyard for Wilson Hunter. And that was a Shafet Dunes activation there that happened just before we got here. So you see all these creatures attacking. They've all been given the bump from a Shafet Dunes. And it looks like there's another activation waiting in the wings here as well. So Brian Brown Doohan looks like he's significantly behind.
There's
We're
also
get those life totals up, and that'll give us the full picture here.
There's also an active Duskborn Sky Marcher, it looks like, which is
You
why
are right.
there's this double block on the Vampire.
Oh, yeah, and it looks like Wilson Hunter's ahead
Wow.
on life total.
So you damage
246.
Huge attack.
Yeah, that's 6 damage hitting Brian Brown, doing, of course, a bunch of life for Wilson.
up to 30.
And the Team Energy deck doesn't really have access to sweepers, so it's really hard to come back when a board goes this wide. Usually Whirler Virtuoso is your answer to effects like that, but when you have that pump effect that you have available with both the Shafet Dunes and the Angel of Invention, that kind of allows you to go over the top.
Brian Brown Doohan has 6 or 7 cards in hand and is likely to lose this game on the next turn with another Shafet Dunes activation there from Wilson Hunter. We just haven't seen that this deck, the Teamer Energy deck, has a great way to come back from being this far behind against a go-wide deck like this. Let's see if there's some secret tech we don't know about. Well, it is, again, the standby as the
Right.
best answer, but it only produces a 2/3 and then an additional 1/1 Thopter if Brian wants. This is still a massive onslaught coming in from Wilson.
All right, Wilson drew a land, which was actually pretty good here because it allows him to activate the Shafet Dunes and still keep up the Dusk Marcher ability up. Or sorry, the Duskborn Sky Marcher ability up.
Mono White Vampires is somehow sitting at 6-1 and
These
is
spell lands are pretty
potentially
good.
on the verge. Yes, we have learned this lesson. Somehow on the verge here. There's that Shafet Dunes activation. And Wilson has a big attack lined up. He's just sending in everything. There's only 3 blockers on the other side. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. That would be 10 damage. Even through a card like Harness Lightning, he would still win.
Yep, this is over lethal.
Way over lethal. And Wilson Hunter takes him down. Brian Brown doing still a really solid day 1 here. He's going to have to finish at 6-2, but Wilson Hunter is going to be the one that's going to finish at 7-1. Congratulations to him. Another awesome day 1. And he's doing it with a very cool deck, too, and that's pretty exciting. Mono White Vampires kind of in a sea of teamer. And look, if that matchup ends up being good for Wilson, he can really look forward to a nice day tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I'm
really excited to see if this deck can actually just continue to progress forward. Hunter Wilson is actually not the only person playing this deck. Actually, Wilson Hunter, I got tricked again just by looking down.
2 last names, 2 first names. You never know.
Right. But an excellent start for sure.
Yes, right. All right, that is going to do it for our live coverage here from the feature match and the booth. We've got a little bit of a wrap-up lined up for you. But first, these messages.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the news desk. Not Pro Tour champion Rich Hagan, not Pro Tour champion Maria Bartholdi, and yes, you guessed it, Pro Tour champion Simon Gertzen here to walk you through the end of the day. We've still got a few results coming in. Maria, in the big results that we've seen, a couple of people that stand out to you in the 7-1-8-0 range.
Yeah, I'm super excited for these players who have come here and it's their first Pro Tour and they're putting up amazing results. We have Brad Maxwell, first PT, going 7-1. Sam Illenfalt, we mentioned him earlier from Tower Games, hometown Minneapolis, Minnesota guy, came here after spending a week in a house with his friends testing, also finishing at 7-1. Simon,
just put that in context for us. How hard is it to be that dominant at your very first day of Pro Tour action?
Is it enough of a context if I tell you that I went 0-5 at my first Pro Tour?
That is an excellent, yes, most illuminating, thank you. But I mean, it is truly astonishing. But it is also such a hard day, and then you have to do it all over again on day two.
Even if you're 7-1, if you're 8-0, you don't have that top 8 until you have it, right? It's not like you can just go to sleep and the next day is just cruising to whatever you dream of. No, this is just the beginning.
Sure, well, it is just the beginning, but if you are 8-0, that's a fantastic place to be. Only 2 players have that honor. Here's one of them down on the floor with Brian David Marshall. It's Piotr Glogowski.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with one of our 2 8-0 players on day one, Piotr Glogowski of Poland. You played one of your countrymen earlier in this tournament. Tell us about that match.
Yeah, I played against Gregor Kowalski actually, in round 6, I guess. And like Gregor is my countryman, is my friend. Like we are on the WMC team together this year. So it was pretty hurtful to play against him, and like it was bad that I needed to knock him out, but I guess I did what I need.
It's kind of nice to come out on top, though, in the national rivalry there, of course.
Of course.
Now, people may recognize you from Magic Online and from some modern Grand Prix as a little bit of a specialist in a certain deck. What are you really known for in the Magic community?
Yeah, I guess right now I'm mostly known as a Lantern specialist or player.
You're that guy?
Yeah, I am that guy. I actually stream the deck a little on Twitch, and like I play it a lot. I enjoy it. Like I enjoy it much more than I enjoy the regular mid-range Magic. But like sometimes you have to do what you have to do. For example, at this PT.
Well, now you said you were 4-0 in the teamer. We'll call it a quote-unquote mirror, because you made a couple of pretty significant changes to your deck. What are the big differences between your teamer and some of the teamers you've frankly smashed along the way?
Yeah, there are some of these changes. I'm actually not sure like how many people play Vraska main deck. I do, like me and my team, we do play 2 Vraska main deck because we think that it's a awesome like mirror breaker. Like basically kind of like a confiscation coup, but like you are left not with the thing you stole, you are left with the awesome planeswalker, so that's better in some ways. And this is like better on empty board. We also have declined to run Glorybringers because we just don't really think they are that great. Like
no Glorybringers.
Like obviously they are great, but there are plenty of like answers that are chosen by people like in part with Glorybringers in mind. For example, like Essence Cutters, Confiscation Coup.
I've seen you with a certain flagship in play a couple times.
Yeah. So like we play Sky Sovereigns instead of Glorybringers because it's very similar actually, but we think it's stronger like right now. At least we feel more comfortable with it, and it works for me today.
All right, yeah, definitely did work. Again, 4-0 in the mirror. Piotr Glogowski, 8-0 here at Pro Tour Ixalan on day one. Congratulations, Peter.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, outstanding. And if you ever watched him play Lantern Control, this is a fine technician. Simon, I know you are a great fan of correct technical play. I don't know whether you've had a chance to watch Piotr in action with the Lantern deck, but this is someone who it's not a surprise to see him making the right move turn after turn after turn.
And not only with the Lantern deck. I think he's a phenomenal control player. Every time he needs to really plan ahead and the tiny edges really, that's something that he knows how to exploit.
All right, what else at the top tables, Maria? What else you got?
Well, I wanted to mention Wilson Hunter. The man's so good, he needs 2 first names, or two last names, not quite sure there, but he's playing Mono White Vampires, which is a deck. I did a deck tech earlier for today, so you can find that if you want with somebody else who brought Mono
Philip
White.
Braverman,
Philip
right?
Braverman. And it's just a really unique, innovative deck that I was hoping to see something like it at this tournament, but I wasn't sure I was going to, finishing 7-1, so a really cool result there.
Yeah, 7-1's great and relatively unexpected. Someone who would have hoped for a record like 7-1 is anyone who's on Team Channel Fireball, like this man, Mike Sigrist.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with Mike Sigrist, Team Channel Fireball, one of 3 players on the team with 7-1 records. You guys are out ahead of the field. What's the secret to your success?
Find 5 Hall of Famers, convince them to team with me, and teach me what they know.
Now, some people you've taken a little bit of ribbing as the non-Hall of Famer on the team, but no sore feelings with the team over that, or with maybe me.
No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, I take it in stride. It's all fun. I mean, I was kind of hoping Martin didn't get in because I knew Raptor was a lock, just so that I wouldn't be the odd man out. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's all good.
So, what was the experience of preparing for this? This is kind of a new situation for you team-wise, right? Working with this specific group of guys.
Yeah. We kind of like mishmashed with the old Channel Fireball Fire and the old Ultra Pro, like Sam Black's a new face, and it was interesting since the set came out, 2 weeks before Worlds, and there was a long break, and then the PT. We kind of just did mostly everything online. And then we finally got together this week. Usually we get together 2 weeks before. But this time it was just a week because, we all kind of knew the formats and whatever, and we really just went to work on this deck that most of us are playing, and just tried to find what we thought the best version was. I mean, even like up till yesterday, we had 6-7 hour debate in the conference room, like, what card should we play? Like, there's so many options for this deck because, the man is so good.
Obviously a very successful process. What's the card you look at the end of this day and you go, yeah, we got that right?
Chandra is the card that's like, I mean, the more Chandras, the better, I guess. Like that's the MVP for me today. Yeah, I mean, that, like, not having that card, I think would have been a big mistake.
So now, I think when a lot of people looked at the team rosters and handicapped the field, you're a team that immediately gets penciled into that top 4 at the end of the year, probably that top 2 for a lot of people. Where did you guys put yourselves in the team series? And I mean, you got to feel great coming out of day 1 in the lead here.
Yeah, I mean, I would say first, but I know a lot of other teams would disagree, but like, we've worked together for a long time. I'm kind of the newer face with them, but those guys have just, their processes, they just know each other so well. And, I've been working with Paulo for, 3 years consistently, off and on with Luis and Josh. This is the first time I've worked with Martin. But, we really, I think, did a great job with the little amount of time we spent together. I think we were very productive. And, I mean, I just think that, yeah, I was very confident going into this tournament.
Is that something that you get with people who've been playing the game for so long? We talk about that Hall of Fame. That means you've been playing on the Pro Tour for at least 10 years. Yeah. Is it just that no nonsense, all business, we're all here sort of lined up with the same goals?
I think there's definitely tons of nonsense. I mean, you can't not have nonsense with Luis in the room. But anyways, yeah, I mean, we just know how to, have just enough amount of fun to make it, pleasurable to do, but also, get to work and make sure that we have the end result we want.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go have some of that fun now. You guys have earned a well-deserved dinner here. Mike Sigrist, 7-1 at the end of day 1 here at Pro Tour Ixalan.
All right, welcome back. So, Simon, what's going on in Standard? That you split the field down the middle, just a radically different universe. There's Energy World, that's half the field in some configuration, and then there's this other half of the field, which is like you've never heard of Energy, and it's like It's not even like you're trying to beat energy, it's just dozens of archetypes all doing their own thing and doing it well in a lot of cases.
Yeah, doing it successfully. It's a tale of two formats, and I've been thinking about this all day. Why do we not see only team or only ramen up red, maybe some control decks? And I think the reason is, if you are in one of the top teams, your goal is to reduce variance. You're going to pick team or maybe ramen up red because of whatever details you come up with during your testing. But now we have all these other teams, all these other testing groups, and they know this is an established format. If they would now pick team or energy, they know they will not have 50% against a team like Channel Fireball. So it's actually smart to look for alternatives, even though it might be a bit of a gamble, because do you really know if Mono White Vampires is better than Teamer going into this tournament? You don't. But you're giving yourself the chance that it might be.
All right, well, great stuff. The good news is that the final result is in. Because we have the results here, that means it must be time for end step.